What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Happy New Year, everybody. Go Bills. Get that out the way. So this is before the Cincinnati game, which I'm sure we will defeat them handedly. But just in case I gotta get it out there, in case we spend the rest of the season on the couch. Gotta get all my Go Bills in now. Definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So Monday and Tuesday are topics. On Monday, we discussed LastPass, the breach as it evolves. On Tuesday, we talked about how ransomware profits are down 40%. So victims are not paying and why they're not paying. So definitely tune in for that one. And then Friday, like I said, we talk about everything else, right? Movies, books, TV, games, all that good stuff. It's also episode 300. We made it. So without further ado, actually, I'll give it to myself. So, so this week's discussion involves a article from Motherboard, which seems to be either in conjunction with or a subsidiary of Vice. The title of the article is U.S. no-fly list leaks after being left in an unsecured airline server. So the things you will find online. So in this case, I won't even call him a hacker. I would say probably a hacktivist, because he believes he's doing something right in spite of leaking, confidential government documents. This happens to be a list from 2019, so it is outdated, but it gives a peek behind the curtain of something that most of us don't know anything about, right? No-fly zone. Most people are not on this list, and we try to avoid it by not getting, drunk in airports or fighting flight attendants or the such. But it shows how the list also includes a lot of people who are either family of people on the list or of known people we don't want necessarily flying into the States or our partner countries, as well as just people from their town, home, or village, like that could be associated with them. So that's kind of why the guy leaked it. He was browsing the interwebs using the browser Shodan, and then just looking for unsecured, Jenkins servers? Is that what he's looking at? Let me double check, make sure I'm not using the wrong company, as though they will come after me, right? Like, you don't talk about our servers. But basically servers that were facing the internet that have known vulnerabilities and are unsecure of some sort, where the browser can pick up, hey, this is something that may have information that you can peruse, you can browse. So he doing his thing. He found the no-fly list on Commute Air, one of their servers, and as well as I guess the server was attached to some of their production stuff where he could have gotten hold of employee PI and such. There's no evidence of that. It seems as though he grabbed the list and he ran with it. The list contained, let's see, it used to say 1.5 million entries. So a lot of these are aliases for the same person. I don't think anybody has, let's say, over 100 aliases. Maybe they do, I don't know. So it's a lot of people on this list. And also points out that the no-fly list before September 11th used to only contain 16 people. We're told that they couldn't fly. Now it's over 1.5 million names on this list, so it could be 1 million people or slightly less. And he believed the list to be wrong and need to be exposed, right? He says it's a perverse outgrowth of U.S. policy and surveillance state. The hacktivist said, what's the hacktivist's name? It's like Crime You is his last name. I can't pronounce his first name.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Crimeu or Crime W. Like, I don't know how to say that name. Like, I don't know. Right. Like, yeah,
I went off the Pokemon Mewtwo.
There you go.
So it's the Crime You. Give him two names. I don't know that's his name, but he put it out there, and it's not the first time that he's leaked information or exposed things that necessarily shouldn't be exposed. I'm sure he's on a list himself somewhere. But yeah, he not only put the Jenkins servers, which it may be, because I'm not a hacker, right? Like this may be a known vulnerability that people find information on all the time, or he may also be disclosing that, hey, Jenkins servers are, web servers are exposed to the internet, and Shodan, with a few plugins, can expose that information to you. This being one of the biggest things probably leaked government-wise since like WikiLeaks and a few other things of that nature. So now the whole list is out there for the world to see. People who may not have known that they were on the list, now that they're on the list, or they may have been denied flights and didn't understand why. I don't know if they disclose, like if you try to get a flight and you're on the list, like, nah, you're on the list. I doubt they say that. Most likely they say, they give some kind of excuse or what have you, or just deny you outright from being able to purchase tickets. I don't know. Like, I know if you get into a fight in the airport, they tell you you're on the no-fly list. don't come back here. If you're harassing our flight attendants and what have you. But yeah, it's very interesting. Again, I believe him to be a hacktivist in the sense that he believes he's doing something right to expose his information. However, it does put certain things to light. It doesn't show necessarily the government or partners in a good light. By showing the list and then the associations of the list, like it only has names and birth dates, but a lot can be extrapolated from that, right? Like where these people live at, who they know, who they may be associated with. So it may also tip off in second and third order effects. People who didn't necessarily know that they're being monitored by the government now know, and that may cause them to go underground as well. So this is me speculating, right? But that's typically how these things work. Like people are able to take simple information and come up with big ideas, right? So how do you feel about this, Shannon?
So, I mean, to address something you said, like you kind of have an idea you're on a no-fly list, right? Like it should not catch anybody by surprise. Like it's like if you know your wife is mad at you, like when you ask, "Hey, is something wrong? Like, are you mad at me?" Like you already know, right? Like you just want to hear it. You know what I'm
Are
saying?
you trying to get it? Trying to speed this up?
Give me the specific, because it could be a few different things. I want to know what I'm going to address here. I don't want to address something I don't need to, right? So like,
right.
it's one of those things. Like you kind of have an idea, right? You got that crazy family member that got kicked off American Airlines. Odell Beckham's family already knows they can't fly now. You know what I mean?
That just happened. Yeah, it just happened.
So, I mean, he ain't on this list because that's 2019, but
right.
But no, like this is interesting to me. Yeah, so with all the entries, they're guessing it's between 47,000 and 81,000 actual people, right? That these aliases fall under. So like
it's a lot of aliases.
Yeah, a lot of aliases, right? Like there's someone is going under.
If you have that many fake names, then you know you're on this list.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? Like if you got all those fake names, you know you shouldn't be doing anything like that, right? Like Jason Bourne can't fly, right? All them passports he had, it just ain't gonna happen, right? but no, like this is even though it was an old one, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, all of those people are no longer on the list, right? But the thing is, there are new names that are not on the list that may be on there, but I don't know. Like I feel a little conflicted about this, right? Because I've said this before, right? Like I'm the Patriot Act guy, right? Like do what you got to do to keep these people from fighting stewardesses. Like they got it rough now. You know what I mean? Let me not say stewardesses, flight attendants. I'm sorry, my apologies, flight attendants, right? Do what you got down. I know. I'm sorry. My apologies, everybody. My apologies. But do what you got to do to keep these people out of the air, right? Like, and it's not just that, right? Like it could be for terrorism, right? Like there are people who are looking out for terrorism, because you mentioned it before 9/11. The flight was the no-fly list was 16 names, right? We had 16 names on it, right? There was more than that in the conspiracy that happened for 9/11. Let me not say conspiracy for 9/11, but the planning and the people that were involved in 9/11.
Right. The plot to make it
happen. There you go. Plot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say. I don't want to say I'm saying it's a conspiracy, y'all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not that guy. But yeah, so like it was something, it's something that's needed, but it should probably be better protected. Let me not say it should be better protected, but I think this is one of those things where it's not like, okay, the government didn't do its job in protecting it, right? Like they got this from a different airline. Like you have to give this to all the airlines.
The third party.
Exactly. The third party's got to do a better job of protecting this, right? Like it is a necessary evil to have this list. Like we 100% need it, but it should be treated more secure. It should be protected better than what it was. Because like if he just going around, he found this on an unsecured server. Like, and I want to say in the article, he mentions how he had done a few servers before, nothing too good, and all of a sudden he started seeing these terms that kind of drew him to this one or whatever. And then we looked in there, he was like, oh, oh, like he got a little excited, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I mean, these airlines got to do better, right? Like, and it's not just for this. Like, they just need to do better all around. Like some of the stuff that they're doing now, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, this is it. It's because of a misconfigured development server, right? Is the reason he found this. So what else is misconfigured from this airline, right? Like the stuff that actually contains PII. Like, why is that not being protected better? You know what I mean? Like this is kind of a sign of, you know, how they do business, and it's just not good, right? And the thing is, this is the only one he found. I'm willing to believe with all the airlines out there, it's probably isn't the only one that probably has lax security on something like this. But
Right.
this should spark them to do better, hopefully, right? But I can't say for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll at least um, I think it mentions in the article that CISA was reached out to help them with the conduction of um, kind of the investigation and what have you. So now you have government involvement as well. So there's going to be backlash for the company. Like, hey, if we can't trust you with the list, then you can't fly. Like because we have to give you the list so you can make sure you don't put people on planes that don't need to be on these planes. If we can't provide you the list, then maybe you lose some kind of license or something like that where you cannot fly people around. So they will definitely be not hammered down, but the screws will be turned on them to ensure this does not happen again. And I'm sure they're already working to make sure that other airlines also do not have this issue, so they'll use a more current list. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. It's, whenever you see these leaks, you get to see a little bit behind the curtain, as well as you get to see how everyone is not doing their due diligence to keep the information safe. So I'm sure this. I don't believe this will be ever evolving, but I'm sure this guy, his name will pop up again because now he's on a list of some sort where they're going to be watching for him because the government doesn't like their stuff being leaked. So now you've, I'm sure he's already aware of this. Your notoriety comes with a price, so we'll see his name probably posted somewhere else, if not on a wanted poster of some sort. So, but definitely continue to tune in. This was our discussion again. Monday, Tuesday, our topics, and then Friday, everything else. So Friday's our 300th episode. Tune in for that one as well. Hit us up on all of our social medias. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Clubhouse. And continue to tune in. We appreciate the Patriots. Go Buffalo. Root for us in the big game this weekend. Or actually, this will be posted after the game. So if not, then you can send me your hugs if we don't make it. But stay safe, stay secure.